Hi, I'm Leezá. I'm an international transformation specialist. And today I want to speak about something that's been quietly suffocating so many smart and competent people, and that's burnout. Everybody's heard the term, but let's look at what that really means. It does not matter how talented you are, how committed or evolved you are. When the tank is empty, the wheels stop turning, right? So burnout is not just about overwork. It's about slow erosion of meaning and joy and actually self-trust in the end. But here's what I want you to know. Burnout is not a sign that you have failed. I'm going to say that again. Burnout does not mean that you have failed. It's actually an indicator. It's a signal and even an invitation, if you will, that it's time to come home to yourself. So let's talk about how to do that, because it's not easy, especially when you have burnout. Have you ever stared at your to-do list and felt nothing? Like there's just so much on there, it just doesn't even touch you? Or maybe you have felt so tired that you can't tell the difference between a real no and just not having the strength to say yes? Or maybe you've poured yourself into work or into caregiving or a cause you care deeply about, whatever it may be, but you've given all of yourself and now you feel empty. So burnout doesn't mean that you are broken. It means that something vital in you has been running without nourishment, right? You've been giving it all, but you haven't been fed. And today we'll talk about how to listen to what your burnout is telling you, right? There's information in there, there's guidance in that for you, and how you can begin again and press restart and without any of the shame that often goes with burnout. Okay, so let's talk first about clarity. Clarity about your burnout. Burnout isn't weakness, it's information, as I just said. It is an indicator. So you can start by telling the truth. Doesn't mean you're lazy when you feel burned out and you feel unable to do anything. It's not that you're ungrateful. It's not that you're bad at managing your time. It means you've been running on a system that's now out of alignment with your actual needs. There's just been a mismatch. And when that mismatch goes on too long and your resources get depleted, that's what we call burnout. In my life, I've burned out even doing work I love, right? I do a lot of pro bono work. And what I've found out for myself is that when I do too much, it doesn't matter if I love what I'm doing. If I'm doing too much and it drains me, and I'm not doing enough of what sustains me, that's when burnout comes. And I've only had it once, thank goodness. But it's intense, so I can relate. And clarity is recognizing that burnout is actually it's like a language, it's speaking to you. Your body and your spirit are asking for something different. So burnout is an opportunity for you to listen deeply to what your needs are. You deserve that. That's something else we'll talk about another time, is that you deserve to have your needs met and your desires fulfilled. Okay, so let's talk now about ownership, because you didn't cause this alone, but you do hold the keys. All right. Ownership is not about blame, and it's not about um, pointing fingers and, well, it's because of this or because of that. It's about choice. It's that when I know that I have ownership for what I do next, then I also have choice. Yeah. And that's freedom. So burnout often builds from a culture. It's from a system, a history of expectations that we've internalized, or the system is expecting things of us or demanding even. But healing begins when we take responsibility for our piece in that, right? Because we're cooperating with that system, or we're allowing those expectations to mandate how we live in the world. So when we take responsibility for our piece in that, that's when change can start to happen. For me, that looked like noticing really subtle ways that I was saying yes when I actually meant no, right? I thought that if somebody asked me to do something, of course I say yes because I'm here to help, right? Especially in my profession as a coach and as a business consultant, that I'm going to just help all the time. But I ended up getting to a point where I couldn't help anymore because I was totally empty, right? And then I thought I had to earn that rest. or I had to continue until I dropped, which I ended up doing. So ownership means asking, what am I agreeing to without realizing it? What am I giving myself to without understanding I have a choice in that? For me, it was like doing a lot of pro bono work, or maybe solving problems that others had not even asked help with. That was another thing that I would do. I could see an issue, I would extend myself to take care of it, and nobody had even asked me to do that, right? So I was working on overtime all the time. Maybe some of that resonates with you, but maybe it's different for you. So making new agreements, ones that honor your limits and your desires and your energy and your humanity, your humanness, right? When you create that framework that works for you, that's when you can start turning around burnout. So you have to get clear on what it is that you're doing that's leading you to that type of exhaustion. So pause and ask, do I want this? Do I have the time or the energy? And if I don't, how do I want to navigate that is respectful both to me and also to the person that I'm involved with right here? So let's talk about now resolution. And what I mean by resolution is when things are out of sync, how do we resolve them? How do we bring them back together again in alignment? So you need courage to stop performing. We've been trained, especially in this culture, in a colonized culture, to perform and to always achieve. So resolution doesn't always look tidy. And this is important to know, right? Sometimes it's messy and you get frustrated, you make mistakes, you cry in your car, you forget what you're saying mid-sentence, you cancel something that you thought you'd push through, right? Or you forget an appointment. Like there's so many things that can happen that are not tidy when you're trying to align again. And that's not weakness, that's healing. That's really bringing wholeness back. So, burnout asks us to stop pretending that we're okay when we're not, to stop showing up with the performance face and start letting people know I'm at a point right now where I need some support. Okay, I can't do it all by myself anymore, or I can't do it to this extent, or whatever it is. So when we stop performing and we start listening within to what we need, then we stop perpetuating that cycle and we begin to reclaim ourselves. And we can do that without any accusation toward others, but really aligning what our energies and our desires are with the needs that we have for ourselves and what is also being asked of us. So resolving what you're currently experiencing with where you want to go is pivotal. All right, so let's talk about excellence now. And excellence is really letting your energy lead. Excellence is not running yourself into the ground to prove your worth. It's not being perfect all the time. It's standing fully in your potential, aligned and integrated and real. That's excellence when you're living from that place. And when you're living from excellence, you don't hustle to keep up. You get to choose what matters, right? You're intentional about what you bring into your life and what you choose to execute on. And you can practice knowing that you're not running to be seen. You can practice that. You can move with vision and intention. You can make decisions from the inside and then act on them on the outside. So that's what true excellence is. It's not perfection. It's not productivity. It's actually presence. So I'd like to offer you something you can take home with yourself. And this week, I invite you to ask yourself just one honest question. What part of me have I been overriding to keep going? Ask yourself that. What part of me have I just been glossing over and keeping the engines burning? Maybe it's your need for rest or your desire for connection, or maybe you have a desire to say no or to take care of something you haven't taken care of for a long time and you've been working in another area. And then take one small action that honors that truth. So maybe it's to leave work 30 minutes early or to say no without explaining. Or maybe it's to put your phone down and simply go outside. Whatever it is, just one thing for 1 week. So this isn't about fixing everything at one time. It's a start. It's about learning to respond to your own signals and to do that with care. So you know what you can start with, just one thing for 1 week. If this message gave you space to breathe, if it reminded you that burnout isn't a failure, it's actually a feedback loop, then go ahead and like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who might also need a reminder about doing too much when their tanks are empty. And if you're ready to live from clarity and ownership and resolution and excellence, then you'll find more resources and programs linked here below. You are not behind and you are not broken. You are simply being called back to what's real, coming back to yourself. Be well.